Okay, Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. So now we proceed to the next subtopic, which are role of chemoreceptor in breathing. Okay, so first of all, breathing will involve the process of inspiration, which is inhalation, and also expiration or exhalation. So what are the components that involved in the process of breathing? Actually, there are 5 components involved. The first one are chemoreceptor, second respiratory center, next nerve, which consists of phrenic and also thoracic nerve. Okay, then lungs, and the last one stretch receptor. Okay, so first of all, we look at chemoreceptor first. So what is chemoreceptor? It is a sensory receptor that responds to chemical stimulus. So for the example, this chemoreceptor can be stimulated by hydrogen ion concentration, which is caused by carbon dioxide. Okay, so let's say if the concentration of carbon dioxide is increased, so what happened to the concentration of hydrogen ion? It will also be increased. So what will detect or stimulate? Okay, so the increasing of the carbon dioxide, actually it will be stimulate the chemoreceptor. Okay, so there are 2 types of chemoreceptor. The first one we call a central chemoreceptor, second peripheral chemoreceptor. So for central chemoreceptor, it is a sensory neuron that is located within CNS. So CNS here means central nervous system, or in specific, it is located at medulla oblongata. But for peripheral chemoreceptor, it is a sensory neuron which is located outside of the CNS. In specific, it will located in carotid and also aortic body at heart. Okay, for central chemoreceptor, it will detect increase in hydrogen ion concentration in cerebrospinal fluid due to high carbon dioxide concentration in blood. But for peripheral chemoreceptor, it will detect increase in hydrogen ion concentration in blood due to high carbon dioxide concentration. So the difference here is for peripheral chemoreceptor, it will detect an increasing in hydrogen ion concentration in blood, while for central chemoreceptor, it will detect the hydrogen ion concentration in cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. Next components are respiratory center. So what is respiratory center? It is the neuron that regulate breathing, and also it will located at medulla oblongata. So actually respiratory center, it consists of inspiratory center that will control inhalation. Another one is expiratory center that will control the expiration. Okay, inspiratory center, it will control inhalation or inspiration. Okay, but for expiratory center, it will control exhalation or expiration. Okay, and the next components are nerve. So this nerve consists of phrenic and also thoracic nerve. So first of all, kita tengok dulu phrenic nerve. So phrenic nerve originates in the neck and it will pass down between the lung and heart to reach the diaphragm. Okay, while for thoracic nerve, it is the nerve emerging from the vertebrae. Alright, and then next components are lungs. The last one are stretch receptor. So stretch receptor is located at the wall of lung. So what happened to the stretch receptor during inhalation? So the lung will be expand. So as lung expand, stretch receptor will detect and send signals to the medulla. So what happened? It will stop the inhalation. Because of what? It will avoid further expanding of lungs. Okay, so all of these are the components that involve in breathing. Okay, so now we proceed on how to explain the role of chemoreceptor in controlling breathing. Okay, so first of all, you have to mention chemoreceptor in carotid and aortic bodies are sensitive to small changes in concentration of carbon dioxide in blood. So what happens when carbon dioxide in blood is increased? So actually it will stimulate the chemoreceptor. So once chemoreceptor is already stimulated, so it will send nerve impulse to the inspiratory center. So inspiratory center is located in medulla. Okay, so once inspiratory center is already received the impulse from the chemoreceptor, so this inspiratory center is activated and it will send nerve impulse via phrenic nerve to the diaphragm, and also it will send impulse via thoracic nerve to the external intercostal muscle. So once both diaphragm and external intercostal muscle receive impulse, so it will increase the rate of contraction. And beside that, it also will increase the rate of inspiration to eliminate excess carbon dioxide. Okay. Next, as lung expand, stretch receptor in their walls are stimulated. Okay, so remember, stretch receptor is located at the wall of lung. So as lung expand, so what happened to the stretch receptor in the wall of lung will be stimulated. So what happened? Impulse was sent along vagus nerve to the expiratory center in medulla. So once expiratory center receive the impulse, so expiratory center is activated and it will inhibit inspiratory center. So no impulse sent to the diaphragm and external intercostal muscle. So since diaphragm and also external intercostal muscle does not receive the impulse, so both diaphragm and external intercostal muscle will be relaxed. So what happened? Expiration take place. Okay. Then the lung are no longer expand and stretch receptor are no longer stimulated. So expiratory center is inactive and inspiration begins again. Okay. So if you look at this process, okay, so actually for process of inspiration to take over, maksudnya macam mana proses inspiration berlaku, mestilah dia akan relate dengan inspiratory center. So how inspiratory center is activated? So this inspiratory center must receive the impulse from the chemoreceptor. So once inspiratory center receive the impulse, so it will be activated and it will send impulse to the diaphragm via phrenic nerve and it will send impulse to the external intercostal muscle via thoracic nerve. So bila sahaja kedua-dua diaphragm dan juga external intercostal muscle receive the impulse, so it will increase the rate of contraction and also it will increase the rate of inspiration. So inspiration akan berlaku. Kenapa? To eliminate excess carbon dioxide. So bila sahaja inspiration berlaku, apa yang berlaku kepada lung? Lung akan expand. So as the lung expand, stretch receptor that located at the wall of lung are stimulated. So once stretch receptor is already stimulated, it will send impulse via vagus nerve to the expiratory center in the medulla. So apa yang akan berlaku bila sahaja expiratory center receive impulse? So expiratory center pula yang akan activate and it will inhibit the inspiratory center. So since inspiratory center is already inhibit, so what happened? There is no impulse will be sent to the diaphragm and also external intercostal muscle. So bila kedua-dua diaphragm dan juga external intercostal muscle does not receive the impulse, so that's why both diaphragm and external intercostal muscle will be relaxed. So what will take place? The process is expiration. Okay. So the lung are no longer expand and stretch receptor are no longer stimulated. So what happened? Expiratory center is inactive and inspiration begins again.